We are here today in my garage full of bicycles with a Nishiki Meridian. I got this for $40 last week. Craigslist, no, Facebook Marketplace, Steal, or maybe not Steal. We'll see. Um, Guy in Oxford, I think he was just cleaning out his garage that time of year, early spring. He had it listed for a little bit more. And I was kind of looking at it, and then it went down to $40 and couldn't resist. 90s hybrids, steel, really good bikes, good at a lot of things. The knock on them is that they're sort of master of none, jack of all trades kind of bikes. They don't do anything particularly well, but they're really good at a lot of things. But I kind of think that's what makes them great. Um, this one interested me because it's got Ishwata oversized tubing, double butted. That's pretty cool. It's not something you get a lot with hybrids. A lot of hybrids that are still hanging around, sort of entry level. I think people just wanted to buy a cheap bike, ride around the neighborhood in. Hybrids usually came in different trim levels, different, some higher end tubing. But I think a lot of the ones that are hanging around in people's garages and basements are low end. So this one had that cool Ishwata tubing that kind of caught my eye. It's got a neat fork, linear blade design, they called it. And it's large size. It is, I think it's a 22 and a half or maybe 22. Kind of works out to like a 56 in road bike sizing. No, it's not a road bike, but it's sort of road bike-ish, cyclocross-ish bike. It's sort of in between, a little nice kind of like slack angle there on the head tube. It's got sort of the cable stops up at the top, sort of cross bike style. It's got this neat little pulley down here at the bottom to make sure that you could still use a bottom pull front derailleur. Although they do have top pull derailleurs that you could probably switch this out with, but I don't know. We'll see. Tires still hold air. The 700 by 38. This is the kind of big decision I've been mulling over in my head. Is will this take a larger tire size? I think I'm good with. I'm going to try to get 700 by 45 or 44. Those WTB Radlers, I think they come into 44. I'm going to see what I can do with that. I think it'll fit. You don't want things rubbing. Sometimes it looks like it fits, but as soon as you stand up in the saddle, out of the saddle, it starts rubbing, and you don't want that. But I want to try to get as big a tire as I can in here. But these still hold air. They're old and sort of dry rotted, so we're not going to trust them too much, but the tubes are good. Canty brakes, I don't know. We'll see how these go. I have others in my bins. The shifters here, you can see I've got them apart. They're the old Shimano, like double trigger style. They almost always gum up on you if they're left for any period of time. You can get them going again with the Pauls, which I did. They still don't feel awesome, but you can get these going pretty good. A lot of people are like, don't use them, throw them out, they're junk. I think you can use them. Whether I want to use them, I don't know. I think what I'm going to try to do is figure out, or what I want to figure out, is what to do with the drivetrain. I'm thinking in my head, my gut is telling me a 1x, nice wide range in the back, like a 1x8, 1x9, even maybe 1x10. Um, Nice narrow wide chainring in the front. Keep the crank maybe. Although I do have a Dior with a modern Holotech 2 bottom bracket that might save a little weight. I'm not a weight weenie, but I don't know. It's nice to ride a light bike. That's why I think this cockpit is going to be going. Um, Steel stem, steel handlebar. That saves a little weight right there. It'll feel a little more springy. The levers, they're attached to the shifters here. That's the big knock on these, is that they're all kind of one. Um, but you can hack them off with a hacksaw. It sounds kind of crazy. You can hack the shifter off if you don't want to use it, and then you just kind of file it smooth. And these are really good levers. They just feel really good, good leverage. and they work great with canty brakes. These canty brakes, one thing that's cool about these is it's got the original cable. It's like this huge, thick braid cable. It's stout. Probably not going to keep it as we redo everything, but they're kind of neat to see. They're just very beefy. It's got a 26.0 seat post. It's kind of a strange size. It's usually like 26.8, 27.2, somewhere around there. But I don't know. The pedals, who knows? They probably go. It's got X-Age 400 derailleur in the back. It's we'll see how it goes. I have a bunch of derailleurs. We'll see what works. I don't know. But I am at that kind of decision point. What do I want to do? Do I want to have it be a one by? My sort of role model for this one grail bike I have is the Diamondback Overdrive, which is sort of it's sort of a cult classic. They're very valuable. They go for a lot of money on eBay, and I know eBay isn't like the be all end all, but that's usually where you find them. I haven't found one around here. If I did, I would probably pull the trigger on it. Diamondback Overdrive, people kind of consider them early 29ers. They were hybrids, but they had a lot of tire clearance. They were sort of, they had these 700 by something 45 Panaracer Smoke tires that were pretty cool, pretty off-roady. It was more of a mountain bike than a hybrid. And there were a couple other bikes back then that did that. Bianchi had one. Gary Fisher started doing 29ers. So I've been kind of on the hunt for a good hybrid that might fit that bill. And if I can get that 700 by 44, 45 tire in there, then that's probably good to go. I know the Diamondback Overdrive had, I think, a Tange Prestige or Infinity or something, really good tubing, kind of light. But they're very hard to find. Not a lot of people bought them, I don't think, and people that have them know how much they're worth and that kind of stuff. But for $40, if I can get close with this Nishiki Meridian, I will. It's got a cool fluorescent ball cage to match the accents here. The paint is in pretty good shape, some nicks and scratches. I do not care about that stuff. Sometimes touch-up makes things look a little weirder in the end, and repainting a bike is a pain in the butt. I think better left to professionals. I've done it. It is kind of fun, but it's a project in and of itself. Now, back here is another decision point that I'm at. So this is a 7-speed free hub, Shimano. I should be able to either swap it out with an 8-speed free hub and a longer axle. And that gets me to that 8, 9, 10, whatever I want to do with the rear. It is in good shape. I can't imagine myself sticking with a 3x7. You can't really go 1x7. You're not getting enough range. You get that 34. You get that mega range 34. Some people take an 8-speed, take a cog off, and get a wide range 8-speed, which is a little easier to come by, but I don't know. I may also end up just taking the hub out, relacing this wheel. I did feel a little bit of like concaveness to the brake surface here. A little concerning, but not terribly. I do have some other 700C wheel sets in my collection. So we'll see what happens back here. Either relace or I might just switch out the free hub, which with Shimano, it's easy enough because you're able to get that free hub off pretty easily. I've never had a lot of trouble getting the free hub off with that big 10mm Allen key. Now, the other final decision, obviously I'm going to be taking the cockpit out, but I had this thing in my head about drop bars, and I don't know. This bike, I think, would take drop bars pretty well as far as the geometry goes. It doesn't have a terribly long top tube, which sometimes you get with older mountain bikes, older hybrids. They're really long top tubes, so you're really stretched out. You got to have a really stubby stem, or you got to go really high because it's usually a smaller head tube. That's why I like this big size on this. So drop bars option. I was thinking maybe I have this weird Campagnolo 11-speed right-hand shifter and like a dead left-hand shifter. So I was thinking like a 1x with drop bars. I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. We'll see. Or again, going back to that Diamondback Overdrive, sort of a 29er-ish mountain kind of thing, single track shredder kind of thing. Maybe just get an adapter for 1 1/8 stems, which those work really nice. I like them a lot. I got them on a couple bikes, and a nice big wide modern mountain bike handlebar. I think that would be nice, and I'm kind of leaning towards that at this point. I have enough off-road drop bar stuff. I have a cyclocross bike. I have a old Bridgestone that I've got a nice short Nitto stem, Bridgestone MB6, which I love. I just replaced the headset on that. Those kind of satisfy that off-road itch. And I have a nice mountain bike. I have a Specialized Fuse. That's a wonderful off-road bike. But I don't know. The other thing I was thinking too is maybe trying tubeless. Maybe try like a, sort of tubeless hack kind of thing. We'll see. I have not had great luck in the past with my modern mountain bike. I've done tubeless, but it's meant for it, so it's a little easier that way. So we'll see. The sort of I got options here. I got options with this bike. It is kind of neat. That's why it caught my eye. Something I could play with. We shall see. But I did have this fantasy in my head that I would just get it running in its current form. Relube bearings, get some grease in there, bottom bracket. They all feel okay, but get it workable. Get everything all shifting and braking okay, and then just ride it for a while, see how it feels. I think that's good advice for someone who's looking for a project. But then, I don't know, then you're using cables, you're getting everything all adjusted and dialed, and then you're going to go take it apart and do it again. I don't know. What I think I'm going to end up doing is just stripping, cleaning, get everything all set, get everything that I can get back together that I don't have an option on, and get it back together, frame and fork, seat post, which does come out and move, which is great. And then figure out everything else, because that's a good way to learn about the bike that you have, is to take it apart, clean it, see what it's like. This is very well taken, I wouldn't say well taken care of. I think the guy rode it a little bit years ago and then just let it sit in his garage. Millions and millions of other bikes out there. That's what keeps us hobbyists going, is if it wasn't for people that just rode their bikes a couple times and put them away, then we wouldn't have much to do. So there's that. Next step is going to be stripping and cleaning and get some wax. You clean it like a car, soap and water. And then we might find some more problems, we might find some more things to do, but that's the fun of it. So join me.